car chases, beautiful women, cool suits, explosions, the life of a spy can seem pretty glamorous. Today we're going to focus on the first one. I know, sorry, the other ones are generally more interesting. But we're going to take a look at the 1987 Nintendo Entertainment System release of Spy Hunter. Originally, Spy Hunter was an arcade game released by Bally Midway. The control was actually a steering wheel too. Here on the Sunsoft developed NES port, you'll be using the Nintendo controller with the D-pad controlling steering and speed, one button for your machine gun and another for your special weapons. More on that later. Spy Hunter is very arcade in style. No plot, no ending, just a car, guns, and a high score. While avoiding civilians and taking down enemies, you'll be cruising along in the G6155 Interceptor, a souped-up spy car with machine guns in the front and fire boosters out the back. Let's see that one on CGR Garage sometime. Anyway, you're not totally alone out there. From time to time, a big red truck will appear, giving you special weapons used to dispatch foes. There's a smoke screen, making anything behind you in a cone swerve off the road. My favorite, the oil slick that shoots out the back of your car. And surface-to-air missiles for taking down helicopters that will show up and start bombing you. It seems pretty rare that I ever actually have missiles when the choppers show up, so you just have to dodge their attacks. There are three other opponents that are much more frequent, however. The Switchblade car, that will come at you with wheel-mounted tire slashers, instantly running you off the road if they hit you. The Road Lord with armored plating covering the entire vehicle, making them immune to your bullets. The only way to deal with them is to use your spy-like driving skills and sideswipe them off the road. Or just drive faster. And finally, the Enforcer, which is a limo that will pull up next to you and shoot out your tire, sending you to the nearest side in a fiery explosion. There are also civilian cars to avoid. Damage them and your score will freeze for a few seconds. In my opinion, these guys are your worst enemy. I think I ran into more motorcycles than anything else. The NES port of Spy Hunter is not known as the best version by any means. I remember playing it a ton though when I was very young. It was probably one of the few games I owned and could actually grasp the concept of pretty easily. Drive forward and don't blow up. Pretty simple. The game also gives you a lead-in time of about 90 seconds where you can die as many times as you want. But I think the thing I remember the best is the Peter Gunn theme that plays throughout the game. The developers wanted to use the James Bond theme, and I think some of the earliest versions actually used it, but due to rights issues, it got switched, and now in my head, it's always what comes to mind when I think of Spy Hunter. The game's biggest criticism is the collision detection. There's a fairly well-known glitch where you can actually drive on the side of the road, through the grass and trees and sometimes water, avoiding all the enemies. Your score won't get any higher while you're doing this, and there is no ending to the game, so it isn't really that beneficial. The setting will change from time to time, like beach and snow, and there actually is a part where you can get in a boat and take the fight to the seas, so to speak. I've rarely reached that section, probably because I'm not very good at Spy Hunter. Another criticism of the game is that it is pretty difficult. But that might be because it's way more fun to drive really fast and blow stuff up, rather than take it slow and get run off the road eventually anyway. Spy Hunter was also ported to a bunch of other older systems like Atari and Commodore 64. There is also a newer 3D version released in 2001 on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and PC. If you want the original, you can find a cartridge or in a few different game collections like Midway Arcade Treasures. However you do play it, pretend that you're a secret agent and believe that they are actually hunting you, Spy.